Hey guys, Ted Bogert. We are back with InvestorYOU. It's all about investing, all levels of investing. If we investing in yourself, investing in real estate, investing in startups, investing in time, investing in resources, investing in people. People are my favorite, but we're going to talk about real estate investing today. I have my co-host with the most, the one and only Mr. Carmichael. I guess that's what we're calling him from now on, Mr. Carmichael. And our special guest, our first guest on our series, the one and only Katie McGinnis. Katie McGinnis is the investment title queen, guru. You name it, I'll let you take all of those titles, Katie. She's going to talk all about her journey and why her title company is different, which is something you really need to pay attention to. When you are working as an investor, you need to have someone who understands how that all works because there's a lot of moving parts. So if you're used to doing your regular transactions, you're the primary owner. That's a little bit different than when you have investors involved. So welcome back, Mr. Carmichael, and welcome to the show, Katie. How you doing today?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, Katie.
Yes, definitely. Excited to be here with you guys.
So, Derek, before we get into Katie, and I'll let you introduce her, tell us a little bit about you and DerekCarmichael.co and all the amazing things that you do in our world.
Yes, sir. I am happy to do so. Real estate broker, investor, hard money lender, DerekCarmichael.co. You can get in touch with me through my Calendly. You can take a look at my hard money products. You can kind of see what I have going on. Pretty soon I'm going to start posting my personal investments on there so you can kind of watch the ups and the downs and the ebbs and flows of this business. But yeah, I'm here for questions. I'm here to help. I've been doing some more mentoring lately, which I really do enjoy doing. So reach out to me, guys, and let's have some fun.
All right. Well, introduce us to Katie. I mean, I've known Katie for a long time, but so have you. So I'll let you do the honors.
So everyone, I'm a massive fan of Katie McGinnis. She has been an awesome tool in my belt. I think she's become a friend of mine since about 2017 when I jumped into the game. We were doing some events together back at the old office. And I think we've both grown together to both become owners now, with no partners, just running. And she's amazing. She knows title. Her team knows title. I love Lyle. Jasmine, Kelly, the marketing girl over there. It's just an awesome team. They know their stuff. They recently flipped that I'll be talking about and posting about. Katie saved my butt on this thing. Her information trumped the attorney. It was just great stuff. I trust Katie and her team with all of my transactions. I asked her to expand her business to other states so that I can use her. I can trust her. She's fun. And when you close, you get champagne. I mean, what more can you ask for?
Woo! Cheers to that. I mean, I think I may only drink a cocktail today, but cheers to that. All right, Katie, that was a great intro. Welcome. So tell us about you. Give us a little bit of background on you. I know you weren't born and decided you wanted to be in title. So tell us a little 411 on your background.
Yes, definitely. So I actually started title when I was about 21 years old, and I was working as a server, going to school for business. And I just I guess I got stuck in title. I finished school and I decided that I wanted to own my own title company. So I opened up my own title company about, I want to say 6 or 7 years ago. And then started New Beginnings in 2020. So it's been fun. It's pretty much all I do. I like to travel when I'm not working.
Yes, you just came back from a beautiful trip. So New Beginnings, I love the name of your business. Why title though? If you're in school, why the title side? Because I've owned 2 title companies. I understand some of the pain that you go through on a regular basis, especially starting up. And you started up in an interesting year, 2020. So tell us a little bit about that.
Title, I actually kind of like it because you get to see a bunch of different sides of the transaction. You get to actually help people, and I like the closing part where everybody's so excited and you get to drink champagne and they're happy. That part made me happy. Going through that is kind of crazy how to get there in the back end that you see with a title company. We have to deal with a lot of ups and downs, but title really is something that I learned and I liked. So I decided to open a company. It was kind of hard in 2020 when I first opened. I started in January 2020, and then the market,
Wow.
COVID happened. So I had to learn basically a whole different side of doing closings because, I was having to go to people's houses. If they came in, they wanted to make sure that everything was pre-wrapped. I had to make sure everything was sanitized. Marketing at that time you couldn't do because there was no large crowds. So we kind of took it virtual and did like virtual happy hours, classes online. And yeah, we grew crazy in 2020. That's when the market kind of went crazy and we were closing a lot of deals. So I was actually blessed to open during that time, to be honest. At first it was very scary, then it was great.
I think everybody was surprised by how 2020 just was, for a lot of people, that was one of their best years, that in 2021, especially in our industry, in an open industry, the real estate world, a lot of people really thrived. Let's talk about investing in specific, because Derek has been going on and on about how amazing you are, and he deals mostly with investments. Why is that such a big deal? Why should somebody work with a title company that understands how investments are different from a closing perspective?
Well, basically, if you don't know the investment side, you can ruin a deal completely when it comes to it. Because you're not just dealing with a real estate agent on the listing side or on the selling side. You're dealing with investors that are actually, sometimes they're flipping them, sometimes they're assigning them. And it's not just the easy breezy, get a mortgage payoff and go to closing. It's more code enforcement, liens on the property for not paying bills. It's all distressed sellers. You have to deal with the seller directly. You have to deal with the buyer directly. You deal with pretty much every part of the party. If there's a hard money lender, you deal with them. So it's really about communication. A lot of title companies just are used to dealing with the realtors and the transaction, so it gets kind of complicated. For me specifically, I started doing investor closings when I first started in title. So I learned that side of title before I learned the residential side. So I know more investor than I do, I know it all now, but at the time I was just working with investors. So when I got these residential properties, I was like, oh my God, I can do this with my eyes closed. It's so easy.
Yeah, definitely a different type of, to me, it's a completely different feel because it's just different. So I want to ask Derek,
yes,
why is it important for you to work with a title company, with Katie, on transactions? What is it from an investor perspective does she offer you that is so important to getting your closing from start to finish?
Oh man, that's an easy answer when it comes to Beginnings. They have the experience, volume. They do volume and their speed, transparency. I can text Katie or Lyle at 12:01 p.m. saying, "Hey, I got one. It's on fire. I need you guys." And by 12:02, they've emailed everybody saying, "Hey, we're the title company on this. Let's get this." They're just ready. They're always there. I don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. I'm not there behind their closed doors. But Tatum, she's just been awesome. But experience. She can answer questions. I even had a question on the transaction, and it was actually a retail transaction, somewhat of an investor. And she helped me with some stuff on the back end on how to close with some of the numbers. Nothing illegal. Just, oh yeah, you can do this and do that. And I kind of wanted to say this. I don't think she's going to say it, but big ups to her. She's also an investor now, so she's not just a title girl. She owns a couple of real estate investments. You know what I mean? One that I'm helping her with, and we're kind of working and cutting our teeth on that one together. But that's just big. That's big for an investor, someone who knows what you're talking about. They can correct you. I want someone to be able to correct me. I don't know everything, and so I don't want to be the smartest person in the transaction. I want to say, hey, here's what I got. Here's what I structured. Hey, Katie, is this legal? Yeah, and here's how you do it. Great, let's go. And know that they're going to handle it. I can't say enough about them, for real.
Katie, I love that. And I think that's what's important. You build that relationship. You also build it because the person has the foundation and the knowledge, especially in an arena that is kind of new. It's got its own things that you have to deal with, on parameters and boundaries and challenges. Derek mentioned it, educating. Katie, what are some of the things that investors, especially first-time investors, might need to know, or some of the pitfalls that you've seen when they bring you a deal and they're that young buck or that young doe and they have absolutely no idea what they're doing. How do you educate them? What are you doing? What's the process like?
I guess first make sure they're working with the right people and that the deal makes sense. You know, some people think that they can just get something because it's distressed, but at the end of the day, you don't know if the market is good in that area, if you can resell it, how much money you got to put into it to actually fix it up to, you know, sell it. And then a lot of these investors think that it's okay just to take on liens that are actually on title as far as code enforcement and whatnot. And that's not really a smart idea, but there's ways to go around to get those closed that we can help them with, as far as like stipulation agreements and all that stuff. So we kind of help with that process, and we try to help them with their paperwork, but we don't really like to step into that.
Good. Well, but you're educated. At least you're pointing them in the right direction. And I think a lot of times they'll go to anybody who's helping them, any kind of relationship they have. And if they don't know the answer or they think that they should be doing something, they don't step outside. Like I would want somebody to say, hey, I can't do that, but you should be thinking about this. Or, and so I think that kind of education stuff is super important. And I want to talk about the education too, because you do a lot of classes and events. Talk about that. Why is that important to your business? Not just from an attraction standpoint, but why do you think it's important to educate?
Well, for one, the investor events that we do, I kind of do those to bring all the investors together. So if they have a deal that they need to sell, they can likely, hopefully, they sell it in the room at the event. So it's just good to get everyone to network together to be able to sell things and ask people for advice and all that stuff. As far as education goes, that's more on the retail side. We like to make sure that the realtors are getting their continuing education credits. They don't have to go all the way to get them. We like to make sure that they're up to date with the new rules and regulations that are going on, because, you know, it helps them in the long run sell themselves to their clients.
It's super important. Derek talks about your events all the time. Derek, what from your perspective as now a seasoned investor, Mr. Carmichael, tell us what you see as far as investors and some of the mistakes that they make in the beginning, because I think a lot of times people go, I want to be an investor. It's kind of like a realtor who says, I want to do commercial real estate. And all of a sudden I'm an expert and I went to one class and now I understand everything. So maybe give them a pointer or two about something that they can avoid, or something you would recommend that they do if they're just starting out.
It's funny, you kind of talked about it. I think a lot of folks are jumping on these gurus, bandwagons, and you got to remember these gurus, they just went through transactions and learned a lot of stuff like we all have, and they're applying this stuff. And I think you need to slow down. Ambition can be a great thing, and it can also hurt you. So I get a lot of ambitious investors calling me, and they want to do all these deals, and they want multifamily, and they want to do it with no money out their pocket and all this stuff. I'm like, pump the brakes. You guys got to slow down. Let's take a look at your credit. Let's take a look at your finances. Let's listen to some of the education, some of the stuff that you're saying. I don't think you have the resources to pull off right now. I think ignorance has been a big part of our industry lately, and somewhat mucking up the investor space. So I would tell investors to slow down, get with someone who can really mentor you in the basics of investing, right? A lot of the times I'm looking at deals. I got off the phone right before I jumped on the call. A guy just has a terrible deal. And I'm like, how'd you figure these numbers out? You know, where are you learning this stuff? You could have saved both of us 10 minutes of our lives if you just analyzed this deal properly, right? So I told him I'd call him later and walk him through how to comp a property, looking at the numbers and making sure you have a credible contractor or GC looking at this stuff, saying, hey, this is really your rehab. You know, all the basics before it comes to myself, before I drag Katie into it. Let's make sure that our numbers are solid. So I think folks need to get back to the basics, learn the basics, and then from there, everything else grows, the fundamentals.
Great. How about one thing that I wanted to bring up that's not about Katie, but it is about hard money really quick. I actually had somebody say, well, I thought I want you to address this, Derek. I thought when people said hard money, it was a hard process and hard to get. So can you kind of debunk that myth a little bit, especially with some of the cool programs that you have?
Yeah. I guess I'll continue to say it. It's not hard. I don't think it's hard anymore. Maybe it's because I do transactions and I know, but to me, it seems like kind of easy to get the money if you listen to your broker, or someone that knows what they're doing. Listen to your agent, and they'll help you out. It's hard money because the rates are high, and in some cases, your down payments seem to be a bit higher than what your traditional lending looks at. But it actually maybe it should be called easy money. I don't know, but it's not hard. It's not a hard transaction to go through. Now, the problem, and again, I guess it kind of goes back to what I was saying. If you do your part on the front side, right? If you analyze the deals properly, you do your homework on the front side, maybe give myself a call, give Katie a call and say, hey, here's what I'm working on. What do you think? Kind of do a lot of your due diligence up front in that 7 or 10-day period you have for inspection. It's going to make the rest of the process a lot easier. If you analyze the deal correctly on the front side, we're most likely going to have a good appraisal on the back side. Like, we can kind of work these things out. It's not hard money because it's difficult. It's actually a lot easier and faster to get our money than it is to go through traditional lending for a fix and flip or just a rental. It is easier. Just got to meet the criteria and know someone that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, it's definitely a misnomer. And with the way the interest rates are, it's really not that big of a differential right now. So, Katie, are you primarily dealing with hard money lenders when you're on your investor side?
Yeah, and private. We have a lot of people that use private money.
Yeah.
So
it's an interesting world out there, and I'm learning it mostly because of Derek. But I'm fascinated by it, and working on the more traditional side. I definitely see where there's an advantage, especially if you're an investor and you don't want to jump through a lot of the hoops and all the paperwork and all the proof and all this and that. And it's really based on you and not the investment itself. It can be daunting on the traditional side. So good to have all options, but I want you all to not be afraid of something called hard money. It's not hard like maybe it used to be. All right, Katie, what's the best way for them to find out more about you and New Beginnings?
Shoot me a message. You can email me at katie@nbtfl.com. Just shoot me a message and we can get some time to talk, have coffee or something. Or come to our events. If you actually go to our website that's listed right here, the nbtfl.com, you can sign up for our newsletters, and we shoot all our events and classes out on those newsletters every month. So you'll definitely have to come by and see us.
All right. I love it. nbtfl.com. That's scrolling. And Derek, how can they find out more about you?
Hey guys, Instagram, Facebook, email, DerekCarmichael.co. I am available. Let's jump on a call, Zoom, Katie's parties, Ted's parties. I'm everywhere. I'm local.
That's correct. Post office most wanted. We've seen the picture. Katie, thank you for being our first guest. You're a joy. You've always been a joy. I love your energy, and I think it's amazing what you do in our community, and we need more people who give back and who are active in it and trying to educate people. I think that's so critical. All right, you all, we'll be back next Monday, every Monday at 12 with InvestorYOU, talking about investing in the things that are important to you. We'll see you guys soon. Thank you guys for being on.